Hi, I'm Bald. Today we're going to be making a pistol grip for a Mossberg 500, and then I'm going to be showing you how you can win this special edition ultra rare Nuka-Cola Quantum from the Fallout 4 release. Excuse my extensive rambling. Here's the video.
Alert. Hostile remains at large.
Alright, now in terms of the style, I'm going to do something a little different the second time around, but this is just about what we're going for. I'm going to take this apart really quick just so you can see how really simple it is. So here's what we got. The wooden handle, it is one piece, and then we have the bolt that is a little custom shaped just so that it can fit inside the thing and spin easily. The thing you're gonna learn really quick about this build is that even though it's really simple, it's still not super easy. I know this looks pretty sloppy right here, but there's actually a lot of very precise stuff that you have to do that if you cut something a little bit too wide, then it's gonna wobble on the handle. Too thin, it's not gonna fit on. I'll do my very best to walk you through all this stuff though, but it is very simple. There is a 5/16 bolt right here. There's a 5/16 hole drilled all the way through this thing, and also there's, I think it was about a 1/2 inch hole that I drilled about halfway through into it so that the head of the bolt can fit in there. The head of the bolt stops up right there, and you just take the handle and screw it in like that. This chunk of something is what keeps the handle from spinning around. So now you got a basic idea of what we're doing. Now let's actually do it. Alright, sorry about the weird angle. So first step, we're going to lay down the shotgun without any sort of stock or handle on it onto some graph paper. We're going to try to get as on top of it as possible, and we're going to mark out the outline of just these edges right here. Alright, I put some dots right there, then do the lines. I'm gonna make a few adjustments here. So there's that. And somehow I've gone this long without that many people pointing out how little effort I put into lighting my videos correctly, but the guilt has caught up with me. So how about just a little casual repentance? No need to talk too much about this thing. So now we get to draw the handle. This part's pretty open-ended. If you got a good idea of how big and stuff your hands are, you can really just freehand it, but if you don't want to do that, save yourself a little time. You can just grab really any sort of pistol grip type thing that feels good to you and just use that as a little stencil. You could use a little electric screwdriver, you could use a hacksaw, you could use a Nerf gun, you could use an airsoft gun, you could use a gun. But for today's example, we're just going to use the airsoft pistol grip shotgun just because I already know that this angle on the handle is going to feel good for a shotgun type weapon. This handle actually comes off very similarly to a real shotgun, so I'm going to pull this off real quick. Put a couple of marks down here where the bottom of the handle is going to be once I remove the straight part that I'm using to gauge the angle of the handle. So now I can pull this off and it can lay flatter so I can get a better trace on it.
You only know you had it. It's gone. You may think to yourself that you're happy, but you don't really believe it.
Alright, that's looking pretty good. Now I can cut this out. So we got our shape. Now for the material, I would suggest getting the absolute toughest wood that you can find. You guys know me, I gotta go with that good old American hickory. So what I have done here, because I was only able to find this piece that I think is probably about 3/4 inches, it needs to be wider than that. So I have traced, well, not really traced, I've marked out the length of the handle 2 times. I'm gonna cut these 2 pieces out and then I'm gonna glue them together. All right, now I'm gonna cut a couple holes into the stencil. Use some masking tape to fix the pieces down. The reason I cut the holes into it and do it this way is so that there's no tape on the edges. Not like I think you guys are dumb or something. So now that we've got our shape, I'm gonna do some work with the drill press because the solid 1.5 inches of hickory is a little too much for my little baby scroll saw to handle. And actually, I haven't used my bandsaw in a while. I'm gonna give it a shot. I've always had trouble keeping it going in a straight line. Maybe these holes will help. It's kind of working. It's still just kind of annoying to use though. The blade's probably just dull or something. I'll try getting a new one eventually, but I'm just gonna use my scroll saw again. Now as you can see, we're almost done. Just kidding, time to sand until you forget what your parents' names are. It doesn't really matter if you stay along these lines right here, that can change to whatever you want. What is really important though is that you stay very precisely along these lines here, because that's what actually butts up against the gun. If you misshape that, the whole thing's not gonna work. I don't think you guys are dumb. I'm scared because I care for you guys, really. Now that we got the edges looking good, we're gonna put the holes through. So what we're going to do is take that 5/16 bolt that actually comes with the shotgun to attach the full stock to it. Gonna screw it in here and line it up here about as good as you can and make some marks. So I continue the bolt line down the side, and then I'm going to mark in the direct center using the seam between the two pieces of wood, and that is going to be where I drill through. Line it up the very best you can and then hope for the best. Well, that freaking sucks. You can see here that the drill bit started in the right place, but then somehow it managed to drift off to the upper right-hand corner. Maybe it's because the grains in the wood are super hard, or maybe I didn't clamp down the vise hard enough. I don't really know. This type of stuff when you're building is always really annoying, but luckily though, as you can see, the wood is actually wider than the shotgun, so I was already gonna have to be taking some off the sides. All this means is that I'll have to just take more off of this side than this side, and that will sort of re-center this hole. As you can see from the center line on my first handle, I already have experience with this. First though, we gotta cut the notch for the chunk.
Really, nigga?
And I'm gonna use that same 1/2" drill bit to drill partially into the 5/16 hole from the back of the handle so that the bolt head can sit in there and not rub up against your hand. Alright, the gloves are going on because we're gonna start cleaning the hand oils off of our piece. We're also gonna start the majority of all the shaping. So we're gonna remove very little from this side because this is the thin side, and then we're gonna shave down this side until it's the same thickness as this side.
It's the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
That's only part of the story.
Now we're gonna mark out how far down we can shape this. Now I'll mark here how much to narrow the part that butts up against the trigger guard. Now we finally do the bulk of the stock removal.
It's nothing short of a miracle. Is nothing short of a miracle.
Now a pre-stain coat. Let that soak in. And for the stain, I'm gonna try that Gunstock 231 that I bought a million years ago and have never really used. I always felt like it sort of looked like spaghetti sauce, so I didn't really know what to use it for, but I figured this is a handle for a gun. So, you know, Gunstock, here goes nothing. Maybe I just didn't stir it well enough the last time I used it, but it sort of has like a caramely color to it, or a caramelly color. All right, I'm gonna go let this chill for a minute. All right, let's clean this up. You know, that does not look too bad. Definitely not as spaghetti saucy as I remember it. It's sort of more barbecue chickeny. It might just be my American talking though. But something you learn more and more as you work with hickory is that it is a very, very difficult wood to stain. As many treatments as you give it, as many pre-coats as you give it, it's always gonna fight the stain. And so you get sort of spots that are lighter than others, and also areas like right here, how you can see it's very dark because the grain is running in this direction. So when I cut down into it, basically it opens up a whole bunch of areas for the stain to go into, so it makes that part darker. But this part that is just flat, the stain just kind of sits on top. So you gotta sort of expect this thing to happen, and if you're expecting it to happen, then you can kind of sort of trick yourself into saying that you actually like the way it looks. And I might be way past that point because I actually think this looks really good. Entrees aside, to me it sort of looks like bone or something like that. Maybe it's just the shape of it. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Now I just gotta leave that to cure for a little while. And here it is, the handle with just the Gunstock 231 wood stain on it and nothing else. I didn't add anything to it. Wait, what? Are you, you're saying that you think I added some Ebony 2718 to it because I wasn't entirely satisfied with the way that it looked? What do you call me, indecisive? You call me scared of commitment? That, you know, that really triggers me that you would say that. I need you to stop talking about that right now. All right, now finally to finish off the grip, I'm gonna be using some matte finish clear polyurethane. All right, and now that it's dry, we're going to feel around, feel any rough spots, and then sand them down. And actually, I'm gonna use a little paste finishing wax to fill in any holes that I might have sanded into the polyurethane. And a few minutes later, we just buff it out. And that is it for the construction of the handle. Now we're just going to shape a 5/16 grade 8 bolt to look a little more like this top one. Alright, now there's that. If you don't want to do all the shaping and stuff, you could just drill the hole in this thing big enough that you could fit a 5/16 socket into there, but at that point it would just be kind of huge and look like a big, strangely large belly button. So I wouldn't really suggest doing that. I would suggest doing this. If you can find a bolt at the store that's 5/16 and grade 8 and also has a little flathead thing, then obviously go ahead and buy that, but I was not able to find that. And this didn't take that long, so whatever. Now this goes here, push it through, screw it in. And there you go. All right, I need you guys to focus so the hat's going on. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really cool news. I'm saving up for a house with a big old workshop so I can have a lot more space and a lot more space to work on some big projects, a lot more freedom, a lot more time to be able to do stuff. And holy moly, if I can get some land and be able to actually shoot my guns at the armor that I'm making and try to develop some, you know, bullet resistant stuff, that would be pretty cool. All that stuff would be cool for you guys in the future, but it's actually really cool for you guys right now too, because it means that I'm gonna have to be making a lot more videos, no more of this 2 weeks apart hoopla to be able to pay for this stuff. And it also means that the hoodie and t-shirt sales are gonna be a regular thing, and the duck drawing competitions that follow are, I'm gonna try to have really cool prizes for all of them, and you probably pieced it together by now. The next prize for the duck drawing competition is going to be the ultra rare limited edition Nuka-Cola Quantum from the Fallout 4 release. This is the official name brand one. It's not some homemade hoopla. Somebody on Instagram was like, well, can you drink it? Yes, it's edible. You can drink it without like being injured or anything like that, but if you hold on to it for a long time, there's a very good chance it could be worth a lot of money. So you can drink it. I mean, it's a drink, you can drink it, but I would not suggest doing that. Just my suggestion. I mean, once it's yours, you can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't drink it. But yeah, if you guys want a chance to win this thing, go ahead and head to teespring.com/alpha-quantum and go ahead and grab yourself a hoodie or a t-shirt, and then just wait a little while. I'll give you the rules for the duck drawing competition and you will be able to enter the contest to win this thing. That's about all I got for today, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bald.